and welcome to Sports by Compion, the other guys edition. I am, of course, Stephen Compion, your host, your guy who brings you random information about sports that you didn't know you needed. And to help me with that is my co-host, the Taco Man himself, the man who has tacos sometimes just big portions. Corey Tompkins here in the house. How are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic. If I was doing any better, I would have to self-sabotage to make it worse for myself, just to even things out.
Because otherwise it'd be just too much at one time.
Too much all at once, and you don't want that. Yeah. You really want to maintain equilibrium throughout your day, your week, your hour. If you have too good of an hour, then obviously aliens are going to invade. So you gotta keep things, even. Balanced,
even keel, dude. Even keel.
Too many things go your way. You just have to stub your toe on purpose, just to even things out.
Maybe don't stub your toe. That hurts so bad.
I mean, hey, dude, how good of an hour are you having?
Fair. Definitely don't let the universe use off so you naturally take it into your own hands. That's brilliant advice here by Sports by Comedy to start off the episode. We are back with the other guy edition, Corey. Our friends Baird Rude and Miles Austin are still in the gulag, still fighting to declare themselves the ultimate other guys. The guys you see in the dark trenches, the guys you may not have heard about or briefly heard about, and then they faded away. But they were nonetheless worthy. Not quite at the Hall of Fame or anything crazy like that, but they were out there, dude. We know about them.
Except they're doing stuff. They made it in the league for multiple years.
Some people might have their jersey, dude. Anyway, speaking of which, yeah, and I got a what's it called, Bear Root jersey. So yeah, we're those people. Anyway, moving into this episode, we got new challengers, Corey. Someone else is coming in there to challenge them. Miles Austin defends his crown first. We got none other, Corey, than a Buffalo Bill legend, a man who was drafted highest since the Bills drafted Eric Mullins, legendary receiver for the Bills. They draft this kid. They're like, Lee Evans, our man, our guy, will find a way to turn us into a legitimate threat on offense. He was a very exceptional college player. Just his freshman year, the typical stuff, 528 yards while here. He was at Wisconsin, by the way. Fine, oops. But anyway, so nothing crazy his freshman year, but his sophomore year really broke out, 1,500 yards off of 75 passes, 9 touchdowns, really big stats, really exciting stuff. Tears his ACL in spring. Eesh, hate to see it. Missed that whole.
I personally did it. Year. His senior year, I think I was maybe like 10, but I personally went there and I tore his ACL myself.
Dude. That's so rude.
It made sense at the time. I was 10. What can I tell you?
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just have to let that one slide.
What year was it?
That was his. That was like around 2001 or so.
I'm sorry. I was 6.
You were 2002. 2002. So you were 7.
Yeah. A little 7-year-old Corey just ran up there. I was like, "Kadoosh! Take that, MCL."
Yeah. Taught him a lesson. Poor guy. But anyway, Corey, after you did that to him, he had to recover his junior year, and he came back strong his senior year, caught another 64 passes for 1,200 yards. He had a crazy game against Michigan State. The poor Spartans, why they got me taking this out on him? In a blowout 56-21 win, Corey, this man had 5 touchdowns. He caught 10 passes for 258 yards and 5 touchdown catches. Kind of disrespectful.
Just out there. Just doing stuff. How many yards in this game?
258.
258. So 50 yards per touchdown. It's just like, get to midfield and throw it to me. I'll handle the rest. It's all good.
Right.
You love to see it. That had to be at least 2 breakaway, 100-yard runs or something.
Yeah, probably.
Because 250 is just insane.
Dude, he probably just did whatever.
That's like quarterback numbers.
Well, basically, half of his catches were for a touchdown.
It makes you wonder how many yards did his quarterback have in that game? Did his quarterback put up 500, or was he just only throwing it to our boy Lee? He was just like, this is working. we're just it's okay. Just all the balls.
We don't need to look up these stats though. This was done to Michigan State, so I feel like we shouldn't even look into this. Pretend like it didn't happen.
Never happened. What do you mean?
No, I feel like we shouldn't even address it. Moving on to the fact that the Buffalo Bills were like, dude, did you see him score 5 touchdowns? Let's draft this kid, 13th overall.
He's gonna on the fucking roster, bro. We need that.
Threat. He's gonna be a threat. I think he was in there with like JP Lawson, bro. Like, you know, the boy with the dope ass hair. And it was like him and JP like trying to turn the Buffalo Bills around. But then there was this guy in New England who was just getting started, and it wasn't that good for anyone in the division with him.
And now he's dating Sydney Sweeney.
It's not. It's fucking beautiful, and we gotta respect it. You gotta respect it, Corey.
We're on board with this. Okay, never mind. I knew that. Yeah, no, I'm here for it. We need our legends to be dating the hottest women.
You gotta respect the game.
We need it. Also, we need our legend. We need the GOAT to be dating the hottest woman available. So I'm on board. I've changed my mind. I'm on board.
He should definitely produce more specimens. You know, like, come on.
She's kind of small. And ideally, he dates like
she's an gorgeous, NBA player. Dude. She'll put out like still some good kids.
She'll put out really hot kids, but she won't put out athletes. He needs to date like a volleyball player or like a WNBA player, something like that. We need athletes.
He's already got Giselle to kind of help pass on the genes. You know,
pass on the hotness.
No, you're right. She's not really quite an athlete either. So you're right. He needs to get with like a real athletic chick and produce some like stud quarterback.
But then we're just gonna have Patrick Mahomes.
He was never much of an athlete. He was never much of an athlete. You guys don't remember? And he kind of just
really
did
smart.
it anyway.
I don't know where we're going with this. This is
really off topic.
We're off topic talking about. In case you guys don't know who we're talking about, this is Tom Brady.
Yeah, real shocker. Anyway, we gotta move on, dude. Poor Lee Evans. We're like talking about his bitter rival in the middle of his story. So anyway, Lee, you like your rookie year, dude. It was pretty sweet. He went up for like 843 yards, 9 touchdowns, gave Bills fans a lot of hope. You know, it's all really good stuff. From there, he went on to get like a career high receiving. I'm assuming over 1,000. He had like 3 touchdowns.
117 and 3 touchdowns against the Dolphins. Take that, you clowns.
Yeah. That's a lot of touchdowns for one game. So he was definitely beating them nice and deep. But yeah, it was kind of tough for him to ever break out with the Bills because they kept on bringing in guys like Terrell Owens, Steve Johnson, even Trent Edwards for a while. Like, it was crazy over there with the Bills. So our boy was trying his best to get in there. And he basically only had 2 years, and he was actually over 1,000 yards at all anyway. And it was about just over 6,000
yards. He was on the Bills too, huh? That guy just
fucking
everywhere. That's wild.
Like towards the end of his career, they brought him in, and he was like, hey, you guys should just look to me like this guy.
How many teams is that guy on? Because he was on the Cowboys, he was on the Eagles, he was on the 49ers. Bills. That's 4 teams already.
We can't start talking about Terrell Owens again.
We can't talk about cooler players. We're talking about the other guy.
This is why he's another guy. Poor guy can't even get people to talk about him on his own story. But anyway, dude, the dude only ever had 2 seasons where he got over 1,000 yards. That's why he is prime. Other guy candidate. Never had double-digit touchdowns. Did end with 43 overall. Just over 6,000 yards. Went to the Baltimore Ravens. Did absolutely nothing with them. On his way out of the NFL.
That's like 7 seasons of good production.
Like, yeah, he did have 7 seasons. He had 7 seasons. He had 5 seasons of good production. It started to fall off pretty bad.
2009 isn't too bad.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
He's probably not wide receiver 1.
And he put up 7 touchdowns. You're right. It's not terrible.
He probably fell into like a wide receiver 2 role after that breakout year. They probably drafted some badass rookie, and they're like, all right, buddy, hang out, teach the new guy, and,
Dude, he needs to catch more of these passes, though, man. Like, he's getting 92 targets, only catches 48. That's under 50%. He does much better this next year. 113, you only caught 55 of them, bro? That ain't great.
That is really not that good.
4. He's not catching most of these passes. That's what the problem with this guy is. Look, even with Baltimore, they targeted him like 26 times, and he only caught 4 of them.
Wow.
They're like, dude.
But also look at 4 receptions for 74 yards. It seems like he's the deep threat guy. Like, that might be why he burned out of the league so quick, because he was a deep threat guy, and then once he lost that step, he lost that speed, they stopped going to him as much.
Could be, Corey. Could be. 8-year career for our boy. 7 years with Buffalo, one with Baltimore. Maybe about 6 with Buffalo. You guys decide. But that's our man, and he will be going up against Miles Austin here in a little while, Corey. And the other corner, taking up Barrett Ruud, the Buccaneers, guy that we know about. Not quite a legend, but a guy we know about. Is none other than John Beason. And it's appropriate that he be taking on Barrett Ruud as a division rival. It did overlap in their playing years. So here he is, Mr. John Beason himself. Miami man. Grew up in Miami, played with the Hurricanes. He was super fast. He was like a sprinter when he was in college too. Like did like a whole bunch of 40-yard dash shit. I think he even did.
That's scary. Fucking fast linebacker coming at you. No one wants that.
He's ever so fast, dude. Yeah, like
you're just out there. You think you're a fast running back. You're like, oh, look at me, I'm so fast. And it's like, oh shit, he's a sprinter.
And then he's like, dude, like 187 tackles, and 3 sacks. So
he just getting to the ball all the time.
And then he got a lot of accolades while he's playing in the NFL. Also a first overall pick by the Buffalo Bills, 25th overall. Finished right behind Patrick Willis for most tackles as a rookie, which we maybe have heard of Patrick Willis. Pretty good linebacker.
Oh, also, I'd like to just take a time out here to acknowledge how fire Steven's polo is. Are you guys seeing this? It's a Buccaneers polo. Can't beat that with that.
It's the old one, man. It's the old look.
That's such a fucking fire polo, dude.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate that, Corey. Anyway, dude, the guy was out there doing this stuff, man. He was playing football, made a boatload of tackles as you should as a middle linebacker. But you'll see, Corey, severe fall off in his final years. He really only had 4 very good years. Yet he was rewarded handsomely. He was rewarded handsomely with first-team All-Pros, with second-team All-Pros, with 3 Pro Bowls. Yeah, because I think Carolina went ahead and drafted this guy named, what was his name? Oh, yeah, Luke Kuechly. So it started to get a little hard for him to do his thing anymore. Plus, I think he got hurt, too.
So his, one tackle was, when Luke ate one of his concussions. It was like, I'm going to sit on the sideline for a minute. Get back in there, buddy.
Yeah, and then he went over to the Giants, had 1 good year with them, and then pretty much completely fell off. But he did overall amass 4 sacks, about 700 combo tackles, a bunch of fumbles, forced fumbles, all that kind of good stuff. Pretty good candidate for another guy, given the massive fall off in production that he had, although quite the start, early tackles and everything like that. He was, like I said, a first rounder. Corey, but what I
go back to his
10-year career overall, good for him. 9 years.
Go back to the year he was with the Giants.
Yeah. 13 to 15.
He just missed it. Because I was trying to see if he's a Super Bowl champion.
No, yeah, he missed it. He missed their Super Bowl.
I think he missed it by a year. I think they were
2011, 2007.
Yeah, no, he missed those. It was with Carolina those. Still.
He was with Carolina and lost. Yeah, no, he doesn't have a championship to his name, Corey. Enough of this. It's time for these men to face their gulag companions, to get in there and battle it out to find out who is the ultimate other guy, Corey. Which one of these men is it? Miles Austin versus Lee Evans first. Lee Evans started off terrible. He doesn't even have a picture. This man could not get any respect. It's just not right.
Miles Austin is in a Eagles jersey. I feel like we talk about this every time, but I'm still mad about it. I'm still mad about it.
It is mad. It is ridiculous, but he does have his legendary smile, Corey.
But I think that is the ultimate mark of another guy that the Cowboys didn't respect him enough to even bring him back to, retire him a Cowboy. Because he was a Cowboy, and we couldn't even retire him a Cowboy. That's fucked up. Emmett came back from the Cardinals. Emmett retired a Cowboy.
That's true. What is this, fantasy points overall? I think so. That's crazy, dude. They'll track your fantasy points overall. Oh my God.
Fantasy back in fucking 2000.
I remember having Miles Austin on some of my early fantasy teams, so yeah.
That's fair.
I can absolutely see it. All right, so anyway, Lee Evans versus Miles Austin, Corey. We got to take a look at this. We've got to decide what we think. Right off, Miles Austin's got to beat by about 11 games played. I don't know what this average here is, but Lee Evans got to beat there. Lee Evans has him by 20 receptions exactly. And about roughly 700-something yards, receiving. He had about a yard and .2 more per reception.
So he was deep threat. If he's averaging 7 or what is that, 16?
But like not even that much more than Miles, you know.
I think
Miles was kind of
also a deep threat. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right.
So my theory about him being deep threat is correct.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do remember him playing with the Bills back in the day, and he was definitely a deep threat type of guy. They wanted him to be a number one receiver, but that's kind of what he turned into. And then about 6 more touchdowns than Miles. He ran the ball one less time than Miles did, but he did gain a substantial amount more yards than Miles.
He ran it better.
But this may be where Miles can make a comeback. He had a bunch of kick returns, 89 of them for 2,143. Zero. Fantasy-wise, though, Lee has him by 107 points. What do we think? Because if we bring some of these, if we have them, he has more yards than him. Now, Lee would still have more touchdowns, a higher average per reception, more rushing yards, too. What do we think, Corey? This is a tough decision. Miles Austin also with more games played. And, let's face it, a better smile.
So, I do love Austin a lot.
Right.
But I think we're talking about wide receivers here. And I feel like by bringing in kickoff return, it's like, oh, who's better at baking cookies? Well, this guy's slightly better at baking cookies, but like this guy's better at tennis. So we're going to give him the edge. Like if we're talking about receivers, we got to keep it. If they both
isn't that much of a stretch though? Like kick returns,
it's not.
Like
you expect your receivers and running backs.
If you can do that, that's an extra. Like, hey, you can do that too.
He's doing more for the team.
It's bonus points,
He's doing more for the team. I think as far as I kind of want to give it to Lee on this, just because in every stat he is better. He did
pretty
more.
Much.
He did more with less games. The only knock on him is that he didn't do.
He fell off harder than Austin did, for sure.
But also 2 Pro Bowls against no Pro Bowls. That's something to consider.
But is that fair, given the stats?
Right. Maybe did they play at the same time? Or is it just stiffer competition?
I don't know. Yeah, probably. It's hard to say.
I mean, I'm biased towards Austin. I still want to give it to Lee.
Let's just give it to Lee. You're right. He does have about 800 yards. He has about 6 touchdowns. You gotta give him the edge on this.
And even
if his star was bright and fast, it was a brighter star than Miles was. Even if it was only 2 years over 1,000, which I think Miles has like 3 or 4.
I'm assuming that the average is average yards per game. So it's probably like 42 yards per game versus 54 per game.
Okay, that makes sense. So, like, whenever Miles was not productive, he really wasn't productive.
Well, I mean, that's just kind of the way of the deep threat.
Also, to factor in here, for team value, Lee Evans was a first-round pick, 13th overall. You could say he's a bit of a disappointment compared to Miles Austin, free agent pickup.
Free agent pickup, and he did 2 jobs. You are swaying me. He had Pro Bowls. He was more durable for longer. He was a wide receiver 2 for longer.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need him to be the star. You just need him to be durable and show up every day and put up your 32 yards.
Yeah. He had a lot of 800 and 700 yard seasons, whereas Lee just put him up fast.
Right. He had two really good seasons and then kind of just mellowed out. All right. So what are we looking for? Are we looking for like this guy in a wide receiver 2 position? In which case, Miles Austin is better.
We're just saying who's the ultimate other guy, which basically the loser would stay as the ultimate other guy.
I think Austin is a better other guy because he wasn't flashy, but he was more consistent. So he's more of an other guy.
Yeah, I would agree. And Lee is probably the better, not quite another guy, more of like a flash in the pan. Right. Yeah, Miles, you gotta stay in the gulag, dude. I'm sorry. We gotta find another guy for you.
He's just incredibly mid.
He's built for this fight. He's incredibly mid, dude.
He's the middest dude you'll ever find.
Miles Austin, we love you, buddy.
I love him, man. That's my childhood right there.
Stay in there. Baron Rude still doesn't have a picture up. He takes on John Beason. This is a fight, Corey. This is serious stuff. Unlike Miles Austin, not quite getting wiped out as much in the stat book, but it is kind of bad. So he's got about a lot more games. He is a more consistent other guy in that sense, which kind of hurts him actually. He has to stay
he's just there, being average every day. He clocks in to be average.
500 tackle Barrett, dude. There's a reason. And so he's got him. He has 3 less interceptions than Mr. Beason, and obviously with the 3 less interceptions, he has less yards. But he does have 2 more sacks than Beason does. Corey, 2 more sacks. Solo tackles, apparently he has less solo tackles by about, is that like 46-ish or so?
Around there.
Yeah, so solo tackles he has less. But what I will say, Corey, and what we should all consider, really think about, 4 forced fumbles more than John Beason. As a middle linebacker, that is kind of what you want. Kind of want him punching the ball out.
You want him getting the ball for you.
Yeah, you want him punching the ball out. Definitely more consistent overall. He was a 2nd-round pick as opposed to Beason being a 1st-round pick, so you get a little more company value there, which actually kind of hurts him because that makes him more of another guy. And then also kind of works against Rude in this as well because he's not acknowledged as another guy. You know, Beason got 2 All-Pros, 3 Pro Bowls, whereas Root has none.
I think it's the same thing of just being just a durable workhorse versus like a couple good years of being a flash in the pan and then you're off to the glue factory, you know?
That's exactly what Beason was, dude. Like, there's no denying it. They're like these 4 years, he started 16 games. And then other than that, 1 time with the Giants. And then besides that, it's been all.
So he had his rookie contract, and then
these are 2 flashes in the pants, and with those slight, even though they were just flashes, they're still better stats than our 2 Iron Man other guys. We gotta leave them.
They just clock in, bro. They clock in every fucking game, and they're gonna do the same shit for 10 years straight.
You won't see them, Corey. You won't see them. They won't be on the headlines. They're the other guys.
They fill out the rosters and just do what they got to do,
They do the work in the shadows. I think we might have to pass these 2 as the ultimate other guys for their 2 positions. We can finally just move on. It makes sense. 3-round of elimination. They beat 2 different people already. We don't need to see them beat any more mid-wide receivers or linebackers. Let's pass these 2 as our ultimate other guys team.
These guys would honestly fit right into the Los Angeles Rams, just going 8-8 every goddamn season. Like they're just gonna be incredibly mid, bro. They're not gonna win you any championships. They're not gonna get you any 1st-round picks. They're just gonna perform.
And we love to hear it. We love to see it. Welcome to the other guys roster. Our first 2 players, Barrett Rude and Miles Austin. They went undefeated. They got undefeated to get into the bracket.
Just fucking trucked everybody.
Dude. Congrats to them.
Pro ballers of midness.
Congrats to them, man. Hey, if there's people out there listening and liking this stuff, well, first of all, we appreciate you guys listening. But if you want to tell us which position you want us to tackle next as we take on another 2 positions, 1 on defense, 1 on offense, to continue to build out our roster here, let us know. You know?
Dude, I want to see Derek Carr as the QB of midness. I want to see if anyone can dethrone Derek Carr because.
Oh, you're going to be surprised. Derek Carr is actually pretty high up in the stats. Didn't you see that's good sports?
Very statistically good, but no playoff wins. I feel like when you're the quarterback, you got to bring home playoff wins.
There's a lot more mid quarterbacks than that. I feel like Andy Dalton midline, the Jay Cutlers of the world. No, he doesn't. I don't know if Andy Dalton does have any playoff wins. I think he lost all those years in Cincinnati every single time.
Did he?
Yeah,
so
dude.
Fire, four, good for Andy.
4 or 5 years in a row, him and Marvin Lewis lost in the playoffs.
Fucking red rocketing straight into the dirt. You love to see it.
Yeah, dude. It was rough. Anyway, before we get into more midness and more other guys out there, congrats once again to Barrett Rude and Miles Austin for the ultimate midness.
Congrats on your millions for being mid.
Hey, good career. Good career for the boys. We love to see it. Thank you to John Beason and Lee Evans, who tried to make an appearance, didn't get much attention. We barely went over John Beason's career. Screw him. He was a Carolina Panther and was tackling my boys, so I didn't like that. Lee Evans was just out there, Buffalo, getting smothered. and eventually lost his starting position to other more talented receivers. Sad times for him. But he was a nice light in the pan. We love him. We love Sydney Sweeney. Sports by Compion. We're out of here.